It has been another busy week here on the farm, but as summer is starting to wind down, things are going to start to slow down as well. But we still have 2 more batches of meat chickens to raise for the year, and then all of our cows for fall breeding season have started having calves. So we have been extra busy just keeping a closer eye on them as well. We needed to get this group of meat chickens out of our little brooder trailer because we have another batch of chickens coming the end of the week. And these guys were getting big enough to go out to pasture. So we decided to move them out today. We just take a few trips at a time. And each of these tractors is 10 foot by 12 foot. And they hold about 75 meat chickens per tractor. So we raise about 300 of them at a time. And they just really do well when we move them out onto pasture because we can move them to fresh grass every day. So they get a really good free range system, but they're still safe from predators while they're in these chicken tractors. And they always just grow really good. So we try to raise them predominantly outside. So as soon as they're big enough to handle the weather and the elements, we get them out of this trailer and onto the pasture. Since my husband still works a full-time job, we are always busy on the weekends doing those bigger chores like moving the meat chickens out to pasture. But then during the week, I do most of the daily chores just at my own pace with the kids. And we raise on our farm meat chickens, laying hens, pigs, and cattle. So there's always enough daily chores to keep us plenty busy. And as I mentioned earlier, we have our cows that we bred last fall are all starting to calve. So I want to get up and get out pretty early in the morning to check on them and just get all of our chores done so I can keep a really close eye on those calving cows. And later on, my dad's going to come out and we are going to catch a cow that we noticed has been limping. So we want to get her in the chute and see what's going on and treat her. So hopefully she'll get better and be able to raise her calf. So that's why I'm just getting out early to try to knock out these daily chores, because right now our main focus is definitely on the cows having calves. The group of chickens that we moved out of the brooder trailer and onto the pasture over the weekend have really been doing well. So that's always great because we're always a little bit nervous when you first move them out, just hoping that the weather cooperates and that they're big enough to be outside. It's nice that these ones are doing well. So hopefully between this group of meat chicks and then the last group that we put in the brooder for the year will be enough inventory to carry us through those fall and winter months until we get chickens again next spring. The pasture that we are letting the cows calve out in is a little bit further away from the barn. And because this cow is limping, we don't want to walk her all the way back. So we're going to go out there with some corral panels in the trailer and try to catch her, which we were able to get her caught. Luckily, we weren't really exactly sure how it was going to go because trying to load a cow on a trailer out in the middle of the field doesn't always work super well, but luckily our cows are all pretty calm, so she was actually pretty easy to catch, which is great because we really wanted to get her in the chute so that we could look at the foot properly and try to get it fixed. We decided to make an alleyway to the trailer from where she was in the pastures. So we just strung up some electric string, which we didn't even have it electrified. We just wanted to kind of make a little bit of a barrier because we were afraid she'd be nervous about going into that tight spot with the trailer, which she was. So luckily we had that string up and we were able to get her on the trailer with very little stress, which is always the goal when working cattle. Once we got her caught in the chute, we quickly realized that she had a case of hoof rot, which is something we have been battling all summer and we're just not really sure why. But we found that the best way to treat it is to give them a shot of antibiotics so that it can kill whatever infection is in the hoof, and we've had a pretty good success rate with that. This time of year, we spend so much time out on our side-by-side, just driving around the pastures and checking the cows to make sure that nobody is actively calving or having any trouble. So I always do a little bit of dinner prep during the day before we go back out, just so that part of the evening I don't have to think about. We can just go out and look at the cows, and I can either have some dinner in the oven while we're out or something already put together that I can easily cook when we get back inside. I decided to make a shepherd's pie, which this is my first time making one in a while. Last fall and winter, it was in my rotation of go-to meals, but it's not really a summertime meal, but we still had a lot of potatoes from the garden, and we just dug some fresh carrots, and it's finally fall, and it's starting to feel like fall outside. So this felt like a really good go-to comfort meal for tonight. And I love it because it's so easy to feed to the toddler because the vegetables are nice and soft, and we just use the ground beef, which she loves. And it's something I was able to put together and then throw it in the oven while we were out checking on the cows. So it really was the perfect meal to make this evening, and definitely one I'm going to put back into my rotation of meals for this season.